Hey there, everybody. A big good morning from down under, sending you a big g'day. Welcome to my mini teach for today. What is a mini teach, you may ask? Well, it is a short power pack of teaching in less than 10 minutes, a nugget of truth, if you will. All right, where are we going today? We're going to dive in to a little bit more of a word study today. So our text is Proverbs 15, verses 13 to 15. And I've called this one a merry heart. It is really important that we understand why we need to guard our hearts in this way. So let's read the text first, and then there's something I want to open up and share with you today. And it says, "A merry heart makes a cheerful countenance, but by sorrow of the heart the spirit is broken. The heart of him who has understanding seeks knowledge, but the mouth of fools feeds on foolishness. All the days of the afflicted are evil, but he who is of a merry heart has a continual feast." And ultimately where we want to be is having a continual feast with the joy of the Lord, which the scripture says is our strength. But what can happen when we are not dealing with those matters or the issues of the heart, when we are not actually guarding our hearts, when we are not seeking a heart of understanding and knowledge. And what I mean by that knowledge is a knowledge that does not exalt itself above the knowledge of God. A knowledge that is subjected to the will of God. Because anything that exalts itself above the knowledge of God has essentially become an idol. And the sorrows within our hearts that are not dealt with can become idols. Now let me demonstrate this to you from the Hebrew word. So in verse 13 of Proverbs 15, it's a couplet. It first says, a merry heart makes a joyful countenance, but the sorrow of the heart actually breaks the spirit. Now the word for that, not that I'm going to pronounce it properly, but the word for that, according to the Strongs, in Hebrew, is atzibeth, and this word primarily actually means an idol. This word for sorrow, a pain or a wound, actually means an idol. And I looked it up in my, the Brown Driver Briggs Hebrew and English lexicon. It means the same thing. Sorrows within the heart that are not dealt with can become idolatrous. And why is that the case? It's because they take the place of our firm confidence and our trust in the Lord in seasons where we all walk through incredibly difficult things. But if we are not anchored in that place and exchanging those sorrows for godly joy. Now, I'm not saying you spiritually bypass and pretend you don't have any problems and just say, I'm just declaring over this and she'll be right, mate. It's a very Aussie thing to say. That's not dealing with the sorrows of the heart. They need to be dealt with properly. They need to be brought to the Lord. They need to be brought to the exchange table and exchange that beauty for ashes, because it's a mess, right? Can we all admit? We go through stuff and it's an absolute mess, and no amount of our knowledge can get us out of it. But when we do exchange it, he does give us something miraculous, which is joy. You can have joy in sorrow. You can have joy in chaos. You can still feel the feelings, but do not bypass your feelings. Please hear me. But you can have an unshakable confidence in God and his goodness in the midst of darkness, in the midst of all these things. And when you do, that sorrow in your heart, that pain in your heart does not become an idol. Because if we place that above the knowledge of God, it is an idol. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. I find that very, very interesting in the Hebrew words, and it'd be great to do a firmer and more solid exegesis in that particular area. But let's deal with the very last verse. All the days of the afflicted are evil, and the reason for that is because they've placed sorrow above, on the throne of their heart instead of the knowledge of God, which must be exalted above everything else that we deal with. But the promise is, if you are one of a merry heart, and that's a decision, that doesn't mean you're forgetting your problems, it's a decision that you make, then you will have a continual feast. You will have the feast, that the table that he prepares for you in the presence of your enemies. That invitation is always open, that table, and it's an exchange table. You give him the rubbish, and he gives you the joy, the peace, just that firm, unshakable confidence. All right, I pray this blessed you guys. Thanks for joining in here on Insta. I'm going to share this to Facebook and YouTube as well. Bless ya. Have a great day. Bye.